roar of the Fenway crowd hung heavy in this Boston air on April 22nd, 1931. But typical spring afternoon, crackling with baseball fever. But in a heartbeat, the cheers turned to gasps, a familiar rhythm of the game shattered by a collision that would send shockwaves through the sporting world. Imagine the scene. The legendary Babe Ruth, assaulting the spot himself, barreling towards home plate. A force of nature meeting an immovable object, Charlie Berry, the Boston Red Sox catcher. A man who knew a thing or two about hard hits from his days on the gridiron. Ruth surprisingly played left field that day and had been running on a sacrifice fly, his eyes fixed on scoring the tying run. Berry, a formidable presence behind the plate, stood his ground, and the impact was brutal. A clash of titans that left the crowd stunned silence. The mighty Babe Ruth, arguably the most famous athlete in America, lay injured on the Fenway dirt. Trainers and teammates rushed to his side, but the initial cheers replaced with worried murmurs. The sight of the seemingly invincible Ruth being carried off the field, his face etched in pain, was unsettling, and this swiftly taken to a nearby hospital for the extent of his injuries unknown. This wasn't just a baseball anecdote. It was the moment that underscored the raw physicality that could be endured even in a national pastime. It highlighted the surprising convergence of the worlds, a former football player's inherent toughness colliding with an unparalleled power of baseball's biggest icon. The question on everyone's mind wasn't just about the game, but the well-being of Babe, the stark reminder of the human element behind the heroics on the field. This famous collision resulted in Babe Ruth, the star of Major League Baseball at the time, missing 10 days at the very beginning of the season, as this was the opening weekend for ball between the Yankees and the Red Sox. But he came back with a strong season for the rest of 1931. Ruth played in 145 games the rest of that season and had a 373 batting average, had 46 home runs, which tied his teammate Lou Gehrig for the lead in the American League. And that same Charlie Berry, a few years earlier, in 1925, left the fields of his college playing days of Lafayette College with his teammate, then also of Lafayette, quarterback Jack Ernst. And they played baseball for the Philadelphia A's and Connie Mack. But in the offseason, they joined a football team, the Pottsville Maroons, and helped guide Pottsville to one of the greatest turnarounds in history and capturing the best record in the National Football League. Well, we tell that story even more and more about Charlie Berry and Jack Ernst in our book that's out just recently called Marooned, The Rise and the Fall of the Redemption of the NFL's Pottsville Maroons. You can find it on Amazon and in the links to the show notes or on the front page of pigskindispatch.com.